We are just days away from a huge lightweight showdown in Qatar where Arman Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker will battle in a title eliminator for Ilia Topuria's belt. And with El Matador already confirmed to be in attendance for his brother Alexander's fight, the tension around this one is even higher. Arman Tsarukyan sent a warning in his latest interview, making it clear that there's a line Dan and Ilia don't want to cross. Arman said Hooker has never made things personal, and as long as it stays that way, it's all business. But if anyone talks about his personal life or his family, he'll take them out of the room and settle it face to face. He said calling him a spoiled kid is whatever, but stepping past that line will not end well for either Dan or Ilia. The winner of Tsarukyan and Hooker is expected to be next for the title, but things get complicated depending on Ilia's plans. If Topuria beats Gaethje or Paddy before that and chooses to move up to welterweight, the whole division gets shaken up and the next title shot could look very different. Arman also reacted to Islam Makhachev's dominant win over JDM this past Saturday. Let's roll the clip.
This is like a kind of risky fight for me because I have something to lose, but for Hooker, nothing to lose. If he loses to me, he said, yeah, okay, I'll lose to number one contender. But for me, it's 3 steps back. That's why I'm very motivated and ready to beat him. He never talked personal like to me, you know. If I have something on my personal thing, yeah, I would take him out from his room and talk to him. Same Ilia. So I was shocked how he beat so easy Madalena. It says what's Islam level, you know. He's in different level right now. He's on his prime, and I don't know who can stop him right now. The 170.
Dana White just dropped one of the wildest behind-the-scenes stories in a long time. On Andrew Schultz's podcast, Dana revealed that he actually had a physical altercation with former UFC heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou during a meeting at the UFC offices. The tension came from Francis being furious that he didn't get a $50,000 fight of the night bonus after that notoriously horrible performance against Stipe in their first fight. According to Dana, things got heated fast, and Francis literally put his hands on him in the middle of the conversation, and that wasn't the only bombshell. MMA reporter Anthony Evans backed the whole vibe by sharing his own experiences from when he worked at the UFC. He said Francis would regularly show up at the offices unannounced, pacing around, literally standing over employees' desks and making people uncomfortable. Some of it was cultural differences and him being a massive dude speaking English as a third language, but Evans said Francis crossed the line a lot. He'd stand over designers and start telling them what to do in this really aggressive, obnoxious way. Alright, let's roll the clip.
Francis Ngannou is a bad guy. He's not a good guy. He plays the whole, I don't understand the language, and he tries to come off like he's a fucking nice guy, you know what I mean? And people go, well, it's the language barrier probably. No, there's no fucking language barrier with this guy. He's a bad guy. Stipe Miocic beats the fucking shit out of him. So, and he comes up to my office. I said, come on in, what's going on? And he was pissed off that he didn't get a $50,000 bonus in his last fight, that he didn't get the bonus of the night. And I said, well, Francis, you didn't get it because this, that. And he's in my office and he's arguing with me. The conversation's over, I'm starting to leave, and he grabs me by my shirt and like pushes me back in my office. And I said, dude, get your fucking hands off me.
Those were the words that came out of you when Francis Ngannou grabbed you by the shirt?
Yeah.
Those were the words that came out of you when Francis Ngannou grabbed you by the shirt?
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou has broken his silence on the entire Dana White beef, and his version of the story is completely different from what has been floating around. According to Francis, the real problem started before the first Stipe fight, when the UFC began dragging out his contract negotiations. That delay left him inactive for months, which meant no money coming in. Ngannou says he hit a point where he was financially unstable and couldn't even properly fund his own training camp. That is when, according to Francis, he personally called Dana White and asked for his fight purse in advance so he could afford his training. He claims that phone conversation was the only direct confrontation he ever had with Dana. On the alleged altercation in a Dana White's office, Francis revealed that the real tension came from slow UFC contract negotiations rather than a dramatic confrontation behind closed doors. He says the delays strained the relationship and created frustration on both sides, painting a very different picture from the one circulating. Fans on social media are divided, with some skeptical of the alleged altercation while others believe it happened, citing multiple media reports of Ngannou's obnoxious behavior at UFC offices. Let's see what Francis had to say in detail.
There was a lot of frustration over the years. Since my fight against Stipe, my first fight against Stipe, my relation with the UFC never been the same. think from that moment I was already put in some position out there. Even before the Stipe fight, when they announced that fight, I need to call to ask for advance of my purse to finance my training camp. I have no money, but I was there training and getting ready for almost a year. So I took some advance. So, and I don't care if I walk around, you guys say, oh champ, oh that's a UFC contender, whatever it is. Man, I just live based off what is in my base of my asset. I don't live beyond that. I came back, I won multiple fights, and they came with a new deal. This was after Junior Dos Santos back in June 2017. And then until my team was on the way to the negotiation, then I say no new deal for Francis. He still have 3 fights on his contract. And to be honest, I was even happy because I wanted to knock that deal out.
Ian Garry is back stirring the entire MMA world, and this time he's aiming straight at the new welterweight champ, Islam Makhachev. In a recent interview, Garry said he saw obvious holes in Islam's striking at UFC 322. He admitted Islam looked clean, calm, and composed on the feet against Jack, but insisted that if you really pay attention in detail, there are clear striking gaps he'd exploit without hesitation. Then he went full villain mode, reacting to Leon Edwards getting knocked out. Garry said watching Leon's head bounce off the canvas was basically his Christmas present, joking that he should call Prates and thank him for the gift. Garry said he wants Dagestan versus Ireland Chapter 3, first 2 being Khabib versus Conor, and Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes. And the only way Ian can avenge for his country is if he takes Islam's belt. He's fully convinced he can do it, says it won't be easy, but believes he has the tools to break Islam's win streak and bring that title back home. For Garry, beating Makhachev would be the biggest moment of his career, and one he claims he's already visualizing. Machado is set to take on Belal Muhammad at UFC Qatar this weekend. Let's dive in.
He looked far cleaner on the feet against Jack this fight, and I was very impressed by that. His calmness and his composure on the feet was elite compared to what I've seen. However, there are still holes that you can see. If you watch that fight and you focus on the striking, there's obvious gaps that I will absolutely take advantage of. But when he grabs a hold of your leg, he's the best in the world. He's technically beautiful with his wrestling. He's smart. He's intelligent. He doesn't do silly things or make mistakes. He does the right thing every time. And he's a dangerous submission threat. However, I don't care for any of that. I'm so intelligent, I'm so smart on the feet, I'm so elusive, I'm long, I'm tall, I'm rangy, I'm undefeated against southpaws. So when we face off, he's got to get to my leg, and he's got to be able to catch me when I'm longer and taller than anyone he's ever faced before. But also, I'm just wickedly fast, that he's never seen anyone as fast as me. He can pull in bantamweights, and they're never going to be as fast as me.
That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.